Good evening, everybody. Welcome. We are so excited that you could join us today for On the Healing Wisdom of Dreams. My name is Alex Elliott, and I'm the Senior Manager of Events and Engagement for the Public Programs Department of California Institute of Integral Studies, which is a nonprofit university located in San Francisco. As many of us are descendants of settlers, immigrants, or descendants of those who were forcefully brought to this continent, we, CIIS public programs, must recognize and never forget that our university's building in San Francisco occupies traditional, unceded Ramaytush Ohlone lands. If you are interested in learning more about native lands, languages, and territories where you are, we encourage you to visit native-land.ca. Now let me first introduce our presenters, Kathleen and Jenée, and then we will get right to their conversation. Jenée Johnson is the Program Innovation Leader of Mindfulness, Trauma, and Racial Healing at the San Francisco Department of Public Health. She pioneered and leads the unique effort to bring mindfulness into public health practices and programs through the Trauma-Informed Systems of Care initiative. Jenée is the founder and curator of the Right Within Experience, a mindfulness immersion program that reclaims humanity, joy, and well-being for people of African ancestry through mindfulness practices. She also served as the director of the San Francisco Black Infant Health Program for 15 years. She's a keynote speaker, workshop curator, coach, and consultant with Sankofa Holistic Counseling Services in Oakland, and on the advisory board of Search Inside Yourself Leadership Institute. Jenée is a native New Yorker with Caribbean and Southern roots. She resides in Oakland with her husband and young adult son. Kathleen Webster O'Malley serves as a health and wellness practitioner, combining more than 20 years of chiropractic with other healing modalities that emphasize alignment to the body's inherent wisdom. A dream enthusiast since childhood, she encourages her patients and wellness clients to look to their dreams as a source of guidance, inspiration, and healing. She is a 2020 recipient of the Visioneers Personal Achievement Award for her contributions to community well-being. Kathleen's mission is to inspire greater compassion and encourage others to align with their innermost wisdom to live with greater integrity, intention, and purpose. Kathleen grew up in the Caribbean among 3 island nations and currently makes her home in central Massachusetts. And now it is my pleasure to turn it over to Kathleen and Jenée.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this very special talk with the beautiful Kathleen Webster O'Malley. And we are Caribbean sisters, by the way. Who would think? Kathleen said to me, our ancestors must be really having a ball. Kathleen's home, where she grew up, was the island of St. Martin. We both have St. Martin ancestry, both French and Dutch side, and have spent time on the beautiful island of Anguilla. And also we have common heritage from St. Thomas. So yes. Hello, sister.
Hello.
It's so beautiful to be with you. I'm just going to hold up my book so you can see all my markings. So
wow, I love it.
If you don't yet have her book, The Healing Wisdom of Dreams, discover your true self through lucid dreaming, journaling, and visioning. Healing, not just putting pieces back together, which is, I love, this is from the back cover of the book, really telling us it's about healing.
Yes.
And it's not just about putting pieces back together, but really reclaiming. And I love that word, reclaiming, reclamation. Sankofa, go back and get it. What is already in us, and that which could not be broken, the essence of who we are as individuals and as interconnected parts of a greater whole. So I'd like you to just start out by telling us first and foremost, what is a dream? What is a dream? An ordinary dream and a lucid dream? What's the difference?
So an ordinary dream, well, they both come from deep within us.
Mhm.
And an ordinary dream is a vision we have while we're sleeping, whereas a lucid dream is when we know that we're dreaming as we're dreaming. So in an ordinary dream, we're having this experience and we don't know that it's not a real experience until we are awake. And the lucid dream is our consciousness is online and we know that we're having this experience. And there are various levels of lucidity. We can just know that we're dreaming, and then we can actually be influencing and directing the narrative, the dream narrative. So they're both really fun.
That is absolutely fascinating. And
Yeah.
we will come back to that, but I wanted to lay that as a groundwork, like what really is a dream? When you're talking about dreaming, what are you speaking of? Now, what is your dream story? What brought you to this deep exploration of dreams?
Well, I've been curious about dreams, Jenée, since I was a child. I would often talk about dreams with my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, and she would tell me what they meant. And so it's just so interesting how life have brought me to this place of sharing about my dreams publicly. You know, when I was 15 years old, I wrote in my journal that I loved writing and I wrote a lot about my dreams, but I wanted a career in helping people. And life, through a series of events, led me to chiropractic, where I left with the skills of helping people to heal through aligning their bodies. And my journey of motherhood caused me to explore other healing modalities and practices, and allowed me to have a deeper understanding of what it meant to be whole, you know, to align body, mind, and spirit. And our dreams, they take us deeper. They take us deeper into our bodies. They allow us to explore all aspects of our mind, our unconscious mind, our subconscious mind, and they allow us to connect more deeply to our soul. So it's almost like life dreamed a bigger dream for me. I couldn't imagine how, you know, I could help people to heal through writing, and here I am.
Now, through the book, I really want you to talk about the life events that were pulling you in this direction, because there's a thread through your story about your road to motherhood.
Yes.
In alignment with, I mean, it alongside of your dreams. What happened, and how did dreams support you in your journey to motherhood?
Oh my goodness. So it began with a dream actually that I had at the age of 15. I was walking along a beach and there was a crib with a fish inside. And when I told my grandmother about the dream, she said it meant that someone was pregnant. And I said, because of the crib? And she said, no, because of the fish. And so whenever I would dream of a fish, I would suspect a pregnancy that was later confirmed. And there've been times where, you know, there wasn't any, there've been times where it was challenged, and I knew the truth of that conception because of the dream that I'd had. And yeah, life has just, you know, lived me here. You know, the challenges have allowed me to really embrace all aspects of myself, and this mystical aspect that, you know, my grandparents and my ancestors gifted to me, I believe.
So the first dream of a pregnancy came at 15.
At 15,
The
yes.
fish in a crib. And fast forward to your own motherhood journey. What happened, and how did dreams support or inform you?
So when my daughter, who's now an adult, when she was
You don't have an adult daughter.
I know. When she was born prematurely, and like my grandmother. So my grandmother had 9 children. including a set of twins, and they were all born at home with a midwife. And so that had been my dream. That had been my dream, to have a home birth. And when I went into premature labor, and my midwife said it was too early to give birth at home. So we ended up having to go to the hospital. And because I hadn't had any early ultrasounds, the ultrasounds that were done that day measured her to be only 28 weeks, not 34 weeks by my knowledge, because of the dream I'd had. And I didn't think it was, I didn't share that I had a dream. I just, took what they found to be accurate. And, but what it turned out that she was 34 weeks after all. And so from that moment, I knew that I could trust my dreams to inform my waking life.
Wow. And then your journey through motherhood took you to other stops and seasons along the way as you were endeavoring to expand your family. So how did dreams, what role did dreams play on that journey?
So one of my,
you talk about that a lot in the book.
I do.
Yes.
My childhood childhood best friend had offered to be a gestational surrogate for my husband and me, and it took me a while to come to that place of accepting her offer. And so I had a dream. I asked my dreams for guidance, and I had a dream where I was standing at the door, and I heard a voice say, "It is me." And that was just that little nudge to accept this offer, to go in a direction that I wouldn't ordinarily have gone in. But the deeper part of me wanted to say yes to this experience, and just to see where it would lead. And, even though the outcome wasn't what I expected, it just continued the journey. It allowed me to learn so much about who I am, and recognize that, life is really about all these experiences that, we can have if we're open to them and curious about them, and not so fixated on, what is the natural way or the normal way. There's so many different aspects of life that is inviting us to explore.
So what have you, well, I want to ask you so many things. Why are dreams key to self-discovery? And what have you discovered about yourself?
Well, dreams allow us to see ourselves more clearly. The parts of ourselves that we don't ordinarily express, the unexpressed grief, unresolved emotions that come to the surface, for us to explore in our dream life. Things that we don't want to revisit in our waking life can actually surface, but at a time when they are ready to be healed. And that's what's really important about dreams, is that they take us where our conscious mind may not be willing to go on its own. But once we get there, we get to explore not just, the shadow parts of ourselves, but what Carl Jung referred to as the golden shadow. Those parts of ourselves that might be unnurtured, but they're there. They're there for us to discover, the unexpressed courage and strength it's really there for us to find if we're willing to go on this journey that our dreams are inviting us to.
And on this exploration, what have you discovered about yourself?
Wow, lots.
Yummy, we're here for it.
I've discovered that, I've always wondered, is my true nature, to hide and to just be an observer, a quiet observer? And I've discovered that, I have a lot to say. I want to be able to use my voice. I want to continue the unlived dreams of my grandparents and my ancestors. I want to embrace it all, embrace all aspects of who I am. I love science and I love knowledge and I love learning. And there's also this mystical side that life is asking me to embrace. So I want to embrace it all. I want to be fully authentic. I want to be fully free to be, to be myself. And I want to invite others on this journey of being their most authentic self.
And so meeting yourself in your dreams help you to discover that?
Yes.
I know people are thinking, but how? I don't even remember what I dreamt. I didn't remember what I dreamt last night. And since I've been reading your book, I've really been trying to remember, to journal. But tell us how can we engage with our dreams? What would be like a good first step?
A good first step. Well, a good first step actually would be to have the awareness that our dreams are coming in service to our health and wholeness. Jeremy Taylor, who's a prominent dream worker, would say that all dreams come in service to our health and wholeness. So even the ones that might terrify us or seem bizarre, there are pieces there that for us to find. Dreams speak in the language of symbol and metaphor. They come from a source of mystery. So they're not easy to decipher. They really want us to sit with it and not, try to think logically about it. They don't come from a logical place. They come from a place of mystery. So it's to, sit with it and allow the meaning, the deeper meaning to emerge. And so I would say having the awareness, listening to programs like this, reading about dreams can inspire, your greater dream recall.
So sorry, go ahead, please.
No, that's okay.
So it's just opening. So the first step is to come into an awareness that there's this possibility here.
Right.
To open up this door so that you start looking and listening. And are there different kinds of dreams?
Absolutely. Lots of dreams. Their dreams can have a pretty extensive narrative, a clear beginning and a clear end. And then they can just be a flash. It can just be one image or one phrase, that can come through a dream. And, it could just be, there's so many. It could be, something that you don't recall the dream, but you can feel the sensation of it when you awaken. You feel this, something moving through your body. You wake up with a song in your mind and you're singing a song that where did this come from? Or you're thinking of someone you haven't seen in a long time. So there are all these different, ways that our inner wisdom is really reaching out and trying to communicate to us.
So first step is step into the possibility with awareness.
With awareness.
Know that there's many different ways the dreams will come to us, many different messages, if you will, that want to be shared or revealed.
Right.
And then what are some tools to help us recall our dreams?
So one of the first things to recall the dream is to, first to have compassion for yourself and for everything you've lived. And it's to recognize that if you remember the dream, it's time for you to remember it. And it's ready to be remembered and to work with. But if you don't remember the dream, there's also that sense of knowing that it's done what it's needed to do. Dreams can serve to help us to process highly charged emotions. So if you don't remember the dream, your active participation isn't required right now. It's done what it needed to do. And if you do remember it, it's to honor it, to record it. Writing, keeping a dream journal is really important, because even if you don't right now, if you're not recalling the dreams, as soon as you have the dream journal, it's like an invitation to your deeper wisdom. It's saying, you know what, I'm ready to receive. And so, yeah, just having that intention to remember the dream is also very important.
That's beautiful. So we have an intention, an awareness, an intention, we dream. I love what you're saying. If we can't recall, the dream has done its work.
Yes.
I never heard that before. The dream has done its work, and I have in some way processed whatever was necessary. You also talk about visualization and meditative practices. How does that help us with dream recall?
Well, dreams and imagination, go hand in hand. We can set an intention to have a specific dream. We can play it out in our minds before falling asleep. And because what we think about, what knowingly or unknowingly makes an imprint on us, follows us into the dream world. So a visualization practice, just using your imagination to create a scenario of a dreamscape, something you'd like to experience in your dream, that can seep into your dream.
Oh, this takes dreams to a whole nother level, that I can then with some intention say, I want to experience, or I have a question.
Right.
That I can ask my dream. Yes.
Exactly. There's a dream incubation, that the process of dream incubation has been around for centuries. And it originated in Greece, where travelers would go to a sacred temple, and they would go through rituals of cleansing and eating nourishing foods and prayer and meditation. And then they would fall asleep, and they would wake up with either healed or with almost like a prescription for what to do next in order for healing. And so a lot of times we can ask our dreams a specific question, like if we're on the cusp of something new in our lives, we can ask our dreams for guidance.
Wow, that is so beautiful. I heard in a podcast, Dr. Joe Dispenza said that the power that created the body is also there to heal the body.
Yes.
And so that came up for me as you were talking, that there is resident within us, sometimes deep because of the chaotic world that we're in, the culture of hypervigilance, high activity, grind culture, if you will, that these things get buried inside. And so the dream is this opportunity to tend to those quiet, those areas that are quite potent, but are not a part of our day-to-day life, because we're so engaged, we're so externally sourced.
Exactly.
So I love this whole notion of we can go to our dream with a question. And so I'm going to ask, I really want this to be interactive. And so folks who are listening, I want you to engage, all right? Because some of the medicine, it's like in mindfulness in my world. Mindfulness is actually not something that you talk about. It's something that you do. It's a cultivation. It's a cultivation of presence. And so I'd like to give people an opportunity to experience you in one of the several meditations in this book. And this one is on page 53. And this will give folks an understanding of how do you engage with a question. What's a process to engage with a question? So this is a beautiful visual, a beautiful meditation for mindful decision making.
Yes.
And it's in the section where you're talking about guidelines for engaging with dreams. So can you lead us through that?
Yes, I'd love to.
Excellent.
All right.
So everyone just sitting in an upright but relaxed position, taking in a couple of deep breaths, inviting the body to relax. And shall I have them drop their gaze or close their eyes?
Sure. So I invite you to close your eyes or just lower your gaze and open to your inner vision. And breathe deeply. Slowly bring your heart, your body, and your mind to a state of ease and calm. See yourself standing before a door. Notice the texture of this door, its color, the door handle or knob. Continue to breathe in and out. Allow any sensations or thoughts to arise spontaneously. What sensations do you feel in your body as you stand before this door? Do you feel a warmth or coolness in your body? Do you feel unsettled or comfortable? Allow yourself to think about what might be on the other side of the door. What awaits you? It could be the answer to your question, a solution to your decision, a long-held dream. Continue to consider what it might feel like if this door remained closed, if the mystery remained hidden. Listen deeply. Listen with all your senses, with your whole being. Hear your innermost voice, your deepest wisdom, and the divine wisdom that transcends yet connects each of us. What would it feel like to open this door? What sensations arise? How do you feel in your body? What wisdom do you hear? What are you being guided to do? When you are ready, return to this present time and space. Move and stretch your body.
That was so lovely. You have a beautiful voice.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I really want to encourage folks to to get the book on Audible so that you can really hear these
Mm-hmm.
meditations,
Mm-hmm.
because what this is an invitation to, it's an invitation to source your inner self, to get off the autopilot of outsourcing and
Mm-hmm.
slowing down,
Right.
and inviting the deeper consciousness, the inner wisdom to come forward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what I'm really seeing here through in our chat is that this is not something you do on the fly. This is like an attunement. You're tuning into your own frequency on a
Mm-hmm.
whole nother level, and it requires just pulling back and slowing down.
Yes, yes. And I would continue, so to continue this practice, I would invite people to then continue to journal about this experience and to write what came up in the practice. And then before bed, to set the intention to actually have an experience where they can gain more wisdom, more insight as they sleep.
That's gorgeous. I want to come back to your legacy around dreaming. It actually came from your grandmother.
Yes.
And the whole notion of the sea, you know, as Caribbean people, the sea is so important. My great aunt used to say, there's a beautiful beach on the French side of St. Martin called Le Galion, and you could walk far, far out into the sea, and it's very still. And she'd say, "Come, let's go take a sea bath," which really meant just come and sit in the water, not swim, don't splash around, but just sit and allow the water, the gentleness of the waves to just rock you, to literally just bathe in it. What is this legacy of the sea, and more about your grandmother?
Yes. So as you were describing that, Jenée, what just came to me was just the being held by the water, being held by the mystery and the possibility. My grandmother would often send us to the sea. She believed that the sea was the cure for anything and everything. And we would actually, my cousins, my siblings, and we would swim and play in the ocean unattended, no adult supervision. And I remember once asking my mom, what were you thinking? And she said, we just figured you guys wouldn't go out further than you can stand. And but I once in a dreamlike meditation, I just said, it was my grandmother's birthday actually this one day, and I said, how did you know we would remain safe? And it was almost like I could hear her saying, you were never unattended. I asked the sea to watch over you, and if ever you ventured too far from shore, the waves would gently usher you back to shore. And I almost heard her say, and now I am the sea. And so now, when I think about her message, go to the sea, the sea is really the perfect analogy for dreams and for the mystery and for the possibility. And so that feels even more meaningful now.
That is gorgeous. It has so many, that it's such a healing place.
Yes.
In our ancestry, the sea is it's such a healing place.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you're saying that it's a metaphor for the dream.
Yeah.
That I'm thinking about the vastness of the sea, the waves.
And so much beneath the surface
Oh,
yet to be explored.
Yes. When you're working with your clients, how do you shepherd them through this dream excavation process?
Well, first of all, I allow them to be the ones to say what the meaning of the dream is for them. I can imagine the dream for myself. I can share my imagined version of the dream, but I allow them to say what the images mean to them, what associations might come up in the dream. or the image that come up in the dream, what do they associate to the dream, and why now? Why is this dream showing up? How is it speaking to the current reality that they're experiencing? And it's really to remember that it's there to serve your health and wholeness. So, if a car shows up in the dream, how are you moving through life? How are you out of control? Are you being invited to slow down, pause, not just when you're driving practically, but in life? Are you moving from one task to another without really taking pause and noticing your surroundings? So so the invitation is always to go deeper into yourself and to find, what does this dream hold for me? What pieces is it providing back to me? And
And so it's very individualized, it's very specific. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And yet there are things, there are images, animals,
Right.
visitations of all kinds.
Right.
How do we make sense of those things?
Well, we allow our inner wisdom to speak. So for me, because of my grandmother's interpretation of fish, I carried that with me. And so it was easy for me to associate fish with pregnancy because she instilled that within me. The ocean. So a lot of people associate water with emotions, and like a tsunami wave, what might be an image that is threatening to some people. But for me, when I go to the ocean and that wave comes and it carries me, it feels like a deeper part of myself it's reorienting me. So it doesn't feel like a threatening image to me. So it really is we all have, our cultural associations, our, what we've learned, personal knowledge. So it's really a personal thing. It's a symbol, it's a metaphor, but the dream typically gives us images that resonate on some level with us. And so that we can know what it means for us.
So let's talk about some of those things that come up for people a lot.
Yeah.
Like falling,
yes,
running, flying.
Right.
Is there a universal meaning to any of these things?
Well, a lot of times, so with falling, people tend to look at falling as, I'm like failing or unrealized dreams. But from a place of compassion, if you take a compassionate approach, a dream of falling could just be an indication that you're being invited to go deeper, fall deeper into yourself. It's not the dream isn't going to come to point a finger and saying, shame on you for not fulfilling what you're supposed to fulfill, or it's not going to point out your failures. It's going to say, go deeper, fall deeper into yourself. Hiding in dreams, we hide when we're afraid. And so the invitation is to seek safety first in our waking life, or to invite safety into the dream, to know that, we are being encouraged to come out of hiding and allow ourselves to be seen, to be fully seen in our authentic selves.
You mentioned it earlier, but I'm hearing it throughout our conversation, the level of compassion that one must have for oneself, because the inner critic is relentless and can be very punishing. And sometimes we experience our dreams in that way, like in nightmares. What do we do? Right. When you wake up with that start, when you have just been really frightened.
Really, right. Well, again, our dreams come in service to our health and wholeness, so they're not there to terrify us. And often nightmares can be dramatic. They can seem terrifying because they want to be remembered. They want to be easily remembered because there's something there that's ready to be healed, that's surfacing, that's unresolved. And a lot of times nightmares, part of what makes nightmares so scary is that we feel alone in them. We feel like we're having this experience and there's no one there to turn to. However, there's a practice, one helpful practice is dreaming the dream forward, where we can invite safety and empowering, something more empowering into the dream and rewrite the narrative. So when we can invite through our imagination or through a journal writing process, we can invite a loving presence or a divine being or even a pet, anything or anyone who provides a sense of safety for us, or empowerment, a sense of empowerment. And if it feels like it's linked to severe trauma, we might need a safe therapeutic space in order to work through the dream. But ultimately, it's really to recognize, our inherent creative impulse, our ability to reimagine something different for ourselves and to move toward, something that's life sustaining or life affirming. So it's really to pay attention, not just write it off as a nightmare. Like I spoke with someone recently who she sets her alarm in order to wake up so that she doesn't have any nightmares. So she doesn't want to go into the REM dreaming sleep because it's terrifying. And so we had a long conversation and I invited her to just, the nightmares that you'll already recall, to record them and just look for the healing, look for the wholeness, look for the peace that's calling to you. And, and we can work together, or you can, if you feel that you need a more therapeutic approach, you can go that route too. So it's really the individual knows, like on some level, we know what our needs are, and our dreams are inviting us to recognize those immediate needs and inform our waking life.
That's beautiful. I once again, I'm thinking about the depth of compassion and the acknowledgement that my inner self, my deepest self is not against myself, right? That's what came up for me as I'm not against myself. So nightmares can be terrifying, but once again, they're there to teach, to invite, wanting us to remember. But this one, sleep paralysis, sister, I have had that and I have felt terrified. It's like a sense of I'm awake, but I'm not fully, and I can't speak. And it sends me, I have a very specific spiritual practice. So it sends me into deep prayer and calling Jesus and, really, and try and feel like I'm trying to get free.
Yeah.
So tell me about that one.
Yeah. So sleep paralysis, it can happen actually as we're falling asleep or as we're waking. And it's really the brain is just signaling to the muscles to, to not act out those images and those actions that we're having in our dreams. So it's actually to protect us. It's to really protect us. And so it's to recognize that it's temporary, carry into the dream the awareness that, this nothing scary is happening. This is just my body protecting me from moving and acting out my dreams. And it can be, it can be terrifying not being able to communicate because you have the awareness, you're aware of your surroundings. So the key is to really remain calm, and breathe. Even though you're not able to move, you're still able to breathe. Nothing is. Yeah, it's to recognize that you're safe, and it's only temporary.
Wow.
And it will pass. This will pass.
And it has passed for sure,
Yeah,
but it is
yeah.
so, it is indeed very frightening.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you to tell us how to prepare for bed, to prepare
Yes.
ourselves. But
Yeah.
before that, I'd like to ask you about things that will help us along the way. You talk a lot about crystals and stones.
Yes.
How can those be of service to us?
Well, there's different stones that have different energetic frequencies. And like, for example, amethyst is a purple stone, and it helps to magnify the energy. But for me, if you're sensitive, it's better to keep it at a distance from you, because you can feel like everything has this energetic frequency. Moonstone, it's a stone that stimulates the pineal gland, which allows for the release of melatonin, which helps us to promote restful sleep. There's clear quartz, so that's harmonizing. So we can use all these different stones to either allow for vivid dreaming. They can help us to remember our dreams. There's some stones that are specific for lucid dreaming as well. So jade, which is a green, typically green stone, or it comes in shades of green, but it can also be different colors. I've had experiences where I've fallen asleep with a jade necklace and had amazing creative storylines and lucid dreaming. So it's just really fascinating how these things work, and not only crystals, but even mementos. I had a candle holder that belonged to my grandmother that I had at my bedside. And whenever I had that there, my dreams were just very vivid, and they're related to the candle holder. A picture, if we put pictures of loved ones next to our bed, there is we can carry that into the dream, and that can influence our dream states as well.
So do you recommend like putting the stone under a pillow?
You can put it under a pillow, or just right next to your bed, or even on the floor, near the bed. It's just, wherever. And if you feel like you're struggling, like amethyst, if you feel like you're struggling to fall asleep, you need to move it a little further away from you.
And what's a good stone to help you stay asleep? That's the thing for me.
Yeah, hematite.
Hematite.
Hematite it's a grounding stone, so it promotes longer periods of deep rest. It's a black stone, and I would definitely recommend.
And put it under my pillow?
Put it under your pillow.
Okay, I'm going to do that tonight. How should we prepare for bed to be, because we tend once again to be very amped up through the day.
Yes.
We're on our devices. We're even through the pandemic, there is whether if you had the privilege of working at home, still there is this collective energetic of a lot of fear, tremendous grief in the collective, and uncertainty. Even for those that have been well resourced, we still have, because we are interconnected. Yes, we're all feeling something in this experience. Some more than others. So, how do we prepare for sleep? How do we prepare to drop down, drop in, and invite our dreams to be of service to us?
Yes, we need to do something to soothe the nervous system. Breathing, heart mat invites us to breathe into the heart, into the belly, and just that conscious breathing, just noticing our breath, anything that allows us to create safety within our bodies. Practicing there's a technique where you hold the front of your head and the back of your head, and you're just cradling your head. And just that is very yes, it's very soothing to the nervous system.
I feel it already.
Yeah, it really just relaxes the body and the mind. And you can do that while you're lying in bed. You know, one of my favorite practices is really to just give thanks. Like I touch parts of my body and just really, appreciate, every aspect of my this physical, embodiment, just giving thanks for each part of us, for everything that works really well and for the things that, could use some healing.
Yes.
Practicing self-forgiveness, letting go of the things that we didn't do so well during the day, or, just recognizing that life is just, one experience after another. And, sometimes we show up at our best and sometimes we're not. and that's okay. And then surrendering, just practicing this sense of, surrender. Sometimes it's hard to let go, to truly let go of our thoughts and our concerns and our worries. And so I like to think of it as just peaceful surrender. I'm just letting it, turning it over to, a larger loving presence.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. We have a meditation like that we use in that instance. Breathing in, I do my best. Breathing out, I let go of the rest.
Yes, love it.
So to end, I think we have enough time for people to experience you one more time in a meditation.
Okay.
And this is called the field of compassion and healing. I'm really struck once again by how much you have us lean into dreams as a place to heal, as a place to process grief, emotions, as a place to find care. And I was really moved by this meditation that you have at the end. And I'd love for folks to experience that in your beautiful
Okay, my
voice.
pleasure. So let us meet in the infinite fields of compassion and healing. As we ready ourselves, be mindful of your posture as you sit comfortably. Open your shoulders or gently. I invite you to position your palms facing upward on your lap or on your knees, helping you to maintain this open posture. You can close your eyes or lower your gaze and bring your awareness to your breath. And as you breathe in, imagine a revitalizing breath entering through the heart, allowing your lungs to expand fully. And as you exhale, imagine the breath being gently released back through your heart. See yourself crossing a bridge that leads to an expansive, open field where others have arrived before you. Find your place in this field. Imagine yourself walking to a spot that is reserved just for you. Stand if you wish, or sit on a chair or on the ground and feel your bare feet upon the grassy field. Feel the connection to the earth. This is your home. Know that you are safe and supported, guided and protected. Know that you are held in love's warm embrace. Breathe in deep into the belly and breathe out. Breathe in this nourishing breath that envelops your body, your heart and mind, as you experience a sense of ease and calm, a sense of love and compassion, hope and inner strength. Imagine your breath merging with a larger field of compassion and healing. This larger presence knows your heart and the heart of all others. It can direct the energy of love and compassion to wherever it is needed, providing strength and peace, calm, courage, kindness, understanding, wherever it is needed, no matter how small or large the request. And as you breathe, allow the energy of this presence to return to your heart. Feel the warmth of compassion being received through your breath. Feel it as it circulates throughout your body, throughout every system, every organ, and every tissue, and every cell, and to wherever you need it most. If possible, place your hand on this area and feel a luminous, healing light penetrating it. Notice whatever sensations arise in your body. Don't label them, simply notice. Breathe in peace. Breathe out peace. Breathe in hope. Breathe out gratitude. Breathe in strength. Breathe out courage. In your mind's eye, visualize a person or persons in need of comfort or strength, and offer these words. May you know comfort. May you know strength. May you know that you are not alone. Imagine a wave of this compassion gently washing over them. Imagine them being comforted by it. Imagine that this breath brings them a sense of ease, that it brings them hope, that it brings them strength. Now think of a challenging situation in your personal life, in your community, in the wider world, and allow the energy of compassion to freely flow to all involved. Imagine yourself letting go of a specific outcome, not with the energy of defeat, but with the energy of peaceful surrender. Allow for something beyond what you or others can have yet to imagine.
This is such a beautiful meditation. I feel that we have created this amazing space of comfort and deep compassion. I'm wondering if you would go to towards the end.
Yes. So take a moment to come back to your breath and re-enter this present moment. Remember that we are each a unique expression of a masterfully woven whole. While no one person is responsible for healing all the suffering of the world, we can each contribute to its healing. So as for tonight, may you have a restful sleep. May your dreams be a source of guidance, inspiration, and healing. May you know peace. May you know love. And may we all be free.
What a beautiful sentiment. May we all be free. So gorgeous. The compassion, the confidence that we can have that our inner self is not against us. It is for us. And as we drop into deep sleep and dreams, that we are healing and that we are forwarding the best that life wants for us. It's all a beautiful cooperative process. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We'd like to move into some Q&A now, and happy to entertain your questions. We have a question from Melly, and she says, I have a recurring dream that appears to me a couple of times a week for the past 5 years. It takes me back to a place in my childhood where I was powerless and suffering. How can I engage with this dream and learn from it? I am no longer powerless, and I would like to show the younger me some love and kindness.
Wow. Yes. So a recurring dream it's coming back. A dream is coming back because there's still something that needs to be explored and integrated. And when a dream takes us back to a specific period in our lives, that is where whatever needs to be rediscovered, that's when it was lost. So it's to go back to that that time, and to pay attention, like who were the people that were supportive and empowering at that time. Choose an image that shows up in the dream, and can you connect it? Can it be connected to that particular time? So it's there, it's recurring because there's still a piece that needs to be integrated.
Beautiful. Thank you, Melly, for your question.
Yes, thank you, Melly.
We have another question. I believe her name is Jenée, and she says, Kathleen, you said we can ask our dreams for guidance, but how do we know when we are really getting the answers from our dream versus our subconscious mind telling us what we desire to hear the most?
That's a great question. The thing is, though, our dreams, that's why they speak in symbol and metaphor. They don't tell us simply what we want to hear. They tell us or they tell us what we need to know. But they do it in from a place of mystery. So it's symbol and metaphor. It's not typically a literal message. So it's to allow the deeper meaning to evolve, like, yes, a car, we know that we drive a car, but what is who are the passengers in this car? Where are they seated? Are they seated in the back seat? Are they seated in the driver's seat? It's really, it's really just an illustration for us to really decipher. It's not to to look at the literal representation of the image. So if it's actually coming in a symbol, and you can decipher the symbol, you work with the symbol, and you can get to the deeper meaning, not just the literal interpretation. And dreams are multi-layered. There's never just one meaning. And that's why it's also important to share the dream with someone and just get other perspectives. And it's like an aha moment, when you're like, oh, wow, yes, that feels right, that resonates. And so, and because we all have this, internal compass and this internal barometer, really. So we can know what's true for us.
That's beautiful, because really kind of back to trusting that inner voice, we're not fighting against ourselves, and we're not having an inner manipulation, right? So that what comes up is, there's a purity to what comes up, and us allowing it to, even if we quote unquote don't understand it, because it could be layered and full of symbolism. It's just, I think the biggest thing is, can we remember?
Yeah.
So this is the piece that I'm interested in remembering. And then, as what you said earlier, if I don't, then the process has been, whatever it came to do, to trust that process.
Right.
It's beautiful.
And if it needs to be remembered, like in the case of Melly, the dream will continue. It'll recur until we, recognize what needs to be integrated.
Beautiful. We have a question from Mary Lou. She said, are there any workshops you recommend that can support this dream work?
Yes, there's so many, but I really love projective dream work, where we are in a group and we're hearing other projections of the dream. Billy Ortiz, who's a dream worker, she's had 20 years experience. She holds groups and workshops. And so you can find her at wakeuptoyourdreams.com. Yeah, there's so many out there. But yeah, that's the first one that comes to mind.
Excellent. Next question is there a difference between dreams that come from within and dreams that come from a visiting presence, i.e. an ancestor?
So I would say, I feel like it's all within. I often say, like, we hear how our grandmothers carried us in their wombs. And it's almost like, the cycle of life. And I feel like now we're carrying them. So I feel like it's all coming from within us, whether it's a visitation or, another dream, or dream images that come based on what we've experienced in our waking life. I feel like it's all coming from the same place, really. So I don't know if so this brings to mind a dream I had of my grandfather just a week ago, and he's been gone now for 33 years. So why now? Why did he show up? And in my dream, I know I have the awareness that he is dying, but he gets out of bed once he recognizes me and goes to his drawer to get something that I feel like it's an important document or a letter, and he puts it in my hand, but it's shreds of paper that he places in my hand, and then he goes back and lies in the bed. And so the symbol of the paper, the pieces, how do I piece this together is what, here I was expecting some letter, some instruction, here's what you do next. And it's, it's symbolic. It's of how, we don't have to have the clear instruction. It's, it's up to us to really piece it together. So did that, I think it could have come from him, but it came through me. So yeah, I feel like it's all in the same, Yeah, I don't know if we can say exactly where it comes from, but it's to pay attention to it and see how it serves you.
Yeah, this circle of life that they say the sacred text says the life of the flesh is in the blood, and we always
Mm,
talk about, in the Caribbean, this is my blood, so
right.
that the presence of our ancestors are continuing to run through us.
Yes. Yes.
I love that you're pointing that out, because we often think of them out there,
Mm-hmm. Right.
coming
Right.
in here, they're in
Right.
another time space continuum, but actually they are in us. That's quite
Mm-hmm.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
We have another question. Do you believe in prophetic dreams?
Yes. 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 There's something within us that connects us to the larger presence beyond us, that connects us all to each other. And so, yes, I've experienced them. There's there's even, studies where people have had um, dreams about, world events before they happened.
Mm.
Um, and this has been documented through various studies that the International Association for the Study of Dreams, they had collected dreams prior to 9/11, and they were dreams about, buildings, and so there are elements that, we are connected to nature, we're connected to everything around us. So there's a sense that we all, dip into that's the same sea of consciousness every night in our dreams, and we emerge with information that is not available to our conscious minds, but it's available to the deeper parts of ourselves.
Thank you so much. The next question is, do you have a particular way of interpreting dreams, i.e., there is the practice of viewing every character in a dream as a part of oneself?
Yes. Yeah. There's so many different ways of interpreting the dream. And yes, so we can, a lot of times with characters in a dream, because we tend to project, even in our waking lives, we're always projecting onto others. And sometimes it's easier to see something in others that's actually within ourselves. So that's one way of working with a dream, but there's so many ways, and it's really about, what works for you, what feels true for you. So you could look at, you know, look at everything, not just the characters, but even the images that show up. That could be a reflection of you in some way. So that is one way of looking at the dreams.
And so even if you are present and there's
Mhm.
other people, the other people can be in some way representing a part of yourself, even though
Exactly.
you're looking out at them.
Exactly. It could be, a younger self, a more a vulnerable aspect of yourself. It can even be, a part of yourself that you haven't grown into as yet. That could be, being highlighted in a dream. So they're just our dreaming minds are incredible. They can present, anything and everything, all different possibilities. But it's really, it's to pay attention to them.
That is
And
so interesting, because last night I had a dream about someone that I went to I knew in college many, many years ago.
Mhm.
It was his younger self, and I could literally feel everything he was feeling. Like I
Mm,
could feel his essence.
mm,
And it was so gentle and so pure.
mm.
And I woke up thinking, why am I dreaming about him? I haven't thought about him in years. But and so I'm going to Google him actually tonight and see what's he doing. But it struck me that I knew how he was feeling. Like I could
Mm,
feel what he was feeling. So I think this complexity, like, were they really my feelings that I was feeling? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, right, rolling it over, those are my feelings. I was feeling me. That's gorgeous. Next question. Do you see a connection between dreams and visions on psychedelic medicine?
See, I have no experience with psychedelic medicine, so I wouldn't be able to really comment on that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Are there any other questions that you would like to ask? Because we do still have a little time. Let's take a deep breath. Kathleen, what would be your I guess I'm saying, for lack of a better word, advice for how we should move forward with this beautiful introduction around the healing wisdom of dreams, and our dreams have wisdom, that they're here to help us process, to help us reach the best of ourselves. Any tips for, once again, of how we should be holding ourselves inside of this exploration?
I think journaling is one of the best practices, because we don't have to analyze or interpret the dream. We can just keep a record, and it's so amazing to then go back and see. With a precognitive dream, it's only a lot of times because of the symbol, because it's symbolic, and it's never not always literal. We don't know until we go back and see, or until it, plays out. Even if we get a glimpse of the future, we still have to take the steps to get there. And so it's so keeping a record of the journey, getting a dream journal, and there are so many different formats. You can just choose one that works for you. Titling, coming up with a title for your dream can be a quick way to reference, oh, I remember my tiger dream or my fish dream. And, we can just see, how we evolve, like our dreams really evolve as we evolve. And, we might look back at a dream and see a different interpretation or a different message that it held for us. So it's really to, keep a record, set an intention for your dreams to be a source of healing and guidance. We can do that before going to bed, and just mentally commit to remembering the dreams when we wake up and share them. A lot of times when we begin to tell a dream, more details can come flooding back to us. So it's really, our ancestors were onto something. They recognized that the dream didn't just hold meaning for the dreamer, it held, wisdom for the community. So it's really, I think sharing is an important aspect of it. And so, I invite you to, create a dream circle, just a circle of close friends that are interested and, and want to know more about their deeper selves.
It's all in service of knowing and healing. In the book, Their Eyes Were Watching God, Zora Neale Hurston talks about how women hold the dream as the truth. Men are looking at the dream. I don't want to mess up the line, but the bottom line was that the dream is the truth. And so what I'm been hearing from you today really is that there is so much truth in the dream, and to be in relationship with ourselves through our dreams, that this is really a deep relationship with self on another level. We're not, once again, outsourcing, but we're going deeper, like in the sea, going under, to find and to hear and to heal and to become fuller. Would you say that that's where?
Absolutely. There's great power in knowing ourselves. Historically, we weren't always able to exercise this power of knowing and and yeah, so it's important now to, for our full expression to really recognize it and to use these gifts.
That's beautiful. Well, we have been with the very beautiful Kathleen Webster O'Malley, my St. Martin sister. I'm holding up her book because it's so lovely. The Healing Wisdom of Dreams, Discover Your True Self Through Lucid Dreaming, Journaling, and Visioning. And I hope you feel inspired to meet yourself in a compassionate and gentle way by paying attention to something that you may have not been paying attention to, or taking it, I hate to use the word more seriously, but with a little more sense of dedication and devotion and self-love, really.
Yes.
Of paying attention to our dreams with that deep desire. Thank you so much for your time tonight. Thank you, everyone, for your listening and for engaging with the meditations. And I love the last wish for us to be free. So thank you, Kathleen, for forwarding our intention for freedom and how that is totally connected to self-love and self-awareness.
Yes.
So turning it back over to Alex. Have a beautiful evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Jenée.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for joining us today. We hope you'll join us for more of our upcoming talks and workshops. This conversation was recorded tonight, so if you'd like to watch it again or share it with your community, it will be available on our YouTube channel at this same link and later on our Facebook page. We will also be featuring this talk on our podcast, which you can find at CIISpod.com or by searching CIIS Public Programs on your favorite podcast app. Thanks again for joining us and have a wonderful evening.